Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts, and welcome to my craft room. This is my Whip It Wednesday video where I show you anything that I've been working on in the craft room this week. I finished the dishcloth that I was working on last week, but I have not blocked it yet, so it kind of, when I'm done with them, they look like these little baskets or bowls. But as you've seen them before, once they block out, they look really nice. And I've started on the next one. I like that this one has more purple because it started at the narrow end, of course. Then this one just has that little stripe. So we're going to see how this one looks compared to that one, and I think it's going to look really nice. As I mentioned last week, these are really soft. Let me give you a shot of the yarn. This is the Peaches and Cream Stripey, and the color is a Beach House. I haven't said this in a while, but I like to knit on size 5 knitting needles. These are nice and short. They fit in my bag nicely. I don't need a lot to have my stitches for a dishcloth, so I don't want to have those big long needles that they have. And I like using these straight needles because it allows me to get good tension. I can really kind of hold and tight and pull hard on this, on the yarn when I'm knitting a dishcloth. These aren't super tight because the yarn is so soft, and I was very relaxed. Knitting is that thing, if you're relaxed, your stitches are looser, and if you're stressed out, your stitches are tighter. So it all depends on how you're feeling and how your project is going to look. Blocking does miracles, but if you're too stressed out, you should probably find something else to work on. Dishcloths are great because it doesn't matter if they're loose or tight, you're doing dishes with them. I worked on the newsprint cowl. I say it every week, but I am knitting it inside out. This is the side that I knit from. This is the side that you wear it from. You can choose either way. I believe it's going to be long enough to twist around your neck twice, so in reality, you're probably going to see both sides anyways. Where is the beginning? When you're working with 2 yarns, it's kind of annoying because you get tangled up like this, but working for more than 2 yarns is even worse. So I've done a few rounds on it. Oh, it looks like 3 rounds, so that's not too bad. I've been picking this up at night for just a little bit of time. Maybe a half an hour, as I'm watching TV. You know I'm terrible about moving stitch markers, so I hope I actually worked on this week, and this is just not last week's stitch marker. But I've done a couple rounds here. Now today is Labor Day. I went out and did a little Labor Day shopping. I had some Kohl's cash that I had to take care of before it expires in a day or two. And I really went out and splurged. I had $15 Kohl's cash and I bought a pack of socks. Ooh. Do you guys ever go to a store? I don't know if you're familiar with Kohl's, but when you spend money at Kohl's, which is a clothing store, men, women, children, it has towels and beddings and all that type of stuff. And they give you earn points. For every so many dollars you spend, $10, $50, however it works, it always changes and they always have deals. But at the end, when you pay, you earn, if you've raised enough points, you earn Kohl's cash. And it's based on how much money you spend. Well, I had to go and do a little bit of shopping last week, and I earned my $15. Or I got bonus money. However it worked, I had $15 in Kohl's cash. So basically it's free money. And it's going to expire on the 3rd. So I wanted to go up and make sure I spent it on something. But as I'm walking around the store, since I already went last week and bought what I needed, it was just kind of like, I don't want to spend more than the $15 because then I'm spending money to save money and it just doesn't make sense because I didn't need anything. So I picked up a pack of socks for the winter time. I like to sleep with socks on my feet, and I don't like the handmade socks at night, only during the day, because those are too warm. So I just like a pair of simple white crew cut socks. So I picked those up. But anyways, my conversation where I got sidetracked is, after I'm done with this video today on Labor Day, I plan on just sitting down in the living room with the TV on and only working on this shawl. I'm just going to knit on this all day long. I haven't had a day or an afternoon where I could just sit down and knit. It is only 10 o'clock right now, so once I get this done taken care of, I can what do? I edit it and upload it and then have lunch, and then I'll have the rest of the day for myself. Well, other than when the animals want to pester me. But the cats nap a lot of times until 3 o'clock, and once I take the dog out, give her a little bit of lunch, she'll sleep for the rest of the day too. So then I can work on this. I have been doing some sewing. I don't remember if I left this in last week's video or I cut it out, but I planned on doing the Susie sack this week. But then I read the directions before I edited last week's Whip It Wednesday video. I thought, oh my goodness, the directions are really kind of short. It's just one page. You know, it's written on both sides, but it's confusing. And this pattern has been out since 2011, 2013. This pattern has been out since 2012. So I thought, okay, well, let me go online and look. There's got to be other people that have made the pattern, right? Oh yeah, there's been people that have made the pattern, and they've all said that the directions are really hard to understand. So I thought it was just me that sometimes when you read directions, you're like, oh, that makes no sense. But when you go through the steps, you're like, oh, I get it. It's simple to understand. Well, this pattern is not that simple. But if you've made bags before, you're going to be able to figure it out. So instead of following the pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch the bag together the way I know how a bag goes together and make the adjustments for this style of bag. Because I've already made the ones where you use the little binding strip up at the top and stuff like that, so it should be fine. I'll figure it out. But I decided with Halloween coming up next month that I'm going to use the pumpkins on the outside. There, maybe we can see it better with all that other stuff. I'm going to have these pumpkins on the outside, and I'm going to have this Harvest Moon fabric on the inside. And then that's the inside lining fabric is the same one you use for your handle. Now these handles have the little clips and the D-rings. I don't have any of those at home, so I'm just going to do a regular handle. Now, here's the ask question for you guys. Do you think you would prefer to have one that clips on and off like these do, or is just a strap going around there perfectly fine that you can put your wrist through? I think the only reason I would use the strap that clips on and off is if I wanted to put it through maybe the loops on my pants or something like that, because it's not a change in the side. It's not an adjustable strap. It's going to be the same size for you to put your hand through no matter what. So I think I would just have a regular strap and just put my hand through it versus having it clip off. Let me know down in the comments what your opinion is, and if you guys think you would prefer it with a clip, then I'll start researching for the hardware if you think you'd be interested in maybe purchasing some of these. I can't do a tutorial for these because it is a paid for pattern. Sorry. So that is going to get finished up sometime this week. Now, even though I did struggle with making that bag, which I haven't even made yet, obviously, but I was able to make a bunch of bags this past week. And if you're interested in any of these bags, you'll be able to find them in my Artfire shop, which is listed down in the description of this video. And after it's been up for a little bit, I'm going to try to go ahead and put a link in a pinned comment so you guys can find it easily. But I made some more of these little mini drawstring bags that have that fun little design on the bottom like that. I lined them all with this fun blue sparkly fabric. I did figure out the drawstring. It wasn't that I was crazy and that things had changed all of a sudden. The casing for the drawstring was just a little too narrow. So I increased the width just a little bit, and I think I might add just 1 more 1/4 inch to it. But these work really good now. Now with a new drawstring, you're always going to have to put your fingers in there and pull it out just a little bit until it gets some wear and tear on it. But see how much easier this is now? I lied. I was holding it with this hand and I couldn't get my finger in. But you see how much easier it is now when you just have a little bit of a bigger casing. Mine's just a little bit thicker than a cording that she used, so of course you have to add in a little extra. So I have this dolphin, and then I have a bug one. I really like these bugs in the jar. Once again, they all have that same inside lining. I have the dolphins with black and with the green casing, so I thought I'd go ahead and make it with green and a black casing. Then I have these cute owls. I guess they're like graduations, the key to success in the books and stuff like that. Oh, this one has the fun swirl one. I forgot. It's been a couple days since I made them, but I thought that blue swirl looked really nice with this blue fabric. That's why I switched that one up. See, same blue fabric. Now, these are the crazy roosters. This is not a directional print. They have roosters that are going in all different directions. See, here's the feet, so this guy's upside down. But when I was cutting out my fabric, I laid them right sides together and cut it, and I didn't even think about what was on the back of the fabric. So I have an upside down rooster. I have this one listed in the shop. I gave you a little bit of a discount if you're interested in it. I think it's still fun and cute. And then I made some of my snap bags. These have the batting in it, so they do stand up a little bit. They're not heavily quilted. I just put 2 lines of stitching along here, and that is what holds everything together. And then you have the snaps on top. It has the gusset on the bottom. These all have polka dot, unless once again I'm telling a lie. But I believe I put polka dot fabric in all of these. So we have the owls. And then we have these bright colored neon-like kitty cats. More dolphins with a black base. And again, dolphins with a green base. I like the bright against the black, but I kind of also like the green because it draws out the green dolphins that are in there. More bugs in a jar. Oh, there's a frog too. And then here's the roosters. See how the roosters are going in all the different directions? So this definitely works better on a larger scale like this than to cut it out for the other one, unless I make sure I fussy cut it and get the placement just right. So if anyone's interested in these bags, they are in the shop. I'm going to be making some more bags. I think I'm just going to make them every week and pop them in the shop whenever I can. And I was thinking about, I wasn't sure the style, but I was thinking about maybe making those flat zipper pouches like you can keep in your purse and stuff like that, or just to store stuff around the house. No gusset on the bottom, as I said, just perfectly flat. But I was wondering, do you think I should make them for holiday? We have autumn coming up. Well, we're getting ready to get into it a lot of places now. And then Halloween and then Christmas. Do you think I should make the holiday one bags? Would you guys be interested in those? Or should I just stick with some fun novelty, and maybe if I can find some calmer fabrics in my stash? As you can tell, I kind of like working with the fun and crazy novelties like this. But I do have some calmer fabrics here and there that I could pull out. Let me know down in the comments and we'll talk about it. And what I worked on this weekend was these scrappies. This was a really fun scrap project. These are actually little 5-inch squares that you have 4 of them that you stitch together. One of you guys had asked about this. Once again, the directions online for this, I'm going to put a link up when I'm going to have a tutorial for this on Friday. And when I put the tutorial up on Friday, I'll give you a link to the pattern. The directions are really good, but it's just a couple things that you have to stop and think and physically do with your hands before you can understand it. When you're just reading through the pattern, unless it's just me, I guess maybe I'm more of a visual learner, or tactile, that I've got to actually do it to know what I'm doing. Just to read it through like that, it got really confusing at one point. But once I figured out and went slow, line by line, and figured out what she was talking about, it was great. After I trimmed this all up and everything, it turned out to be about 9 inches square. I think it was really fun. These, if you want to do this with me this weekend and you want to do the small one, these are 5-inch squares of a background color. And these actually are my scraps. I don't keep scraps this small. These are actually 3 1/4 inches. No, these are 3/4 of an inch wide. I went into my 1.5 inch strip bin and just cut them in half, because if you used 1.5 inch strips, you'd only put like 2 on there, so it didn't really work out that way. So I went ahead and just cut my strips down smaller. But then I thought, well, what if I don't want to cut my strips down smaller, or I don't have narrow strings and I just want to use what's in my scrap bin? So then I went ahead and I enlarged it. Then I went with a 10-inch square of a background fabric to start. As you can see that I have not sewn any of these together yet. Oh look, well now we'll see what that looks like when you have them together. That gives you a bit of an idea of what that's going to look like when sewn together. Now for these, I went ahead and I used those 1.5 inch strips that like I said, I already had pre-cut, And I made several of these. And you must know me by now that I like the black background with all the variety of bright fabrics on it. I did add some blacks in there just to see some darker fabrics to see how it would work out. But these were really fun to work on, and if you're interested in this, just go ahead and come back on Friday and you'll be able to catch this tutorial. So if you go ahead, if you want, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you ring the little bell, the notification bell, YouTube will let you know when I put up a new video. But this video should be up on Friday morning this week at 9 a.m. as usual. Fingers crossed nothing crazy happens. That is the plan. Let's take another look at this one. I really like the way these turned out. I want to thank you guys for all the wonderful, lovely cards you've been sending to me. I haven't made it up to the post office in about a week. So if there's anyone else that's up there, I'm sure it's there safe and sound. I just haven't made it there. Before I show you the handmade cards that have come in, now I hope I didn't miss anyone's handmade cards. I did have one week where a lot of cards came in, and I thank you guys just so much for all the cards. And Mary from Ohio, you didn't leave a return address or a last name or anything, so I couldn't thank you personally for the little gift you tucked into my card. So thank you so much, Mary. I do appreciate it. Now, let me show you some of the handmade cards. This one came from Michigan. Isn't this cute? It's got the trees and the little ribbon and everything. I thought that was really pretty. I always like how card makers, they layer their things so it comes up to 3D and stuff like that. And it's always like one card stock on top of another on top of another. Of course, it's a great way to hide any type of glue or anything like that. I'm not going to show you the note on the inside, but this is the inside lid of the card. You see how everything's nice and crisp and clean and there's nothing showing. I don't know. It's just something simple like that where I know they're just using double stick tape or some glue to hold it all down. It just always amazes me that they can layer everything like this and you can see nothing on the inside. Then I received this beautiful card. Look at the sunflowers and the bird houses and the picket fence and the watering can and the flowers. I thought this was really pretty. This has nice bees on it. But now this card is really beautiful, but this always leads to a question. I have asked this today on my Instagram. But when you make a homemade card or even a store-bought card, now when I buy a store-bought card, sorry, I'm awfully tongue-tied today. When I buy a store-bought card, I have no problem writing on the inside of it because I figure most people, maybe they'll display their store-bought card on their mantle or their table or something like that, or on their dresser for a few days after the occasion, whether it's a birthday or Christmas or whatever, but then they tend to either tuck them away or toss them away. A lot of times there's not anything special about the store-bought cards, except for Hallmark has that handmade line that looks really nice. But on a handmade card, I don't get rid of these. I tend to save these for, well, forever until maybe I get way too many and I go crazy and I toss them out or something happens to them. But my question is when you do a handmade card, do you write your note right in the card or do you write it in a separate piece of paper? Now, as I mentioned, this one has a handwritten card. It's on the inside, but it's not completely, I could easily just pop this off if I wanted to. But when I have a handmade card or a really nice card that I think that the person's going to save, I don't always write on the inside. Now, sometimes like on a fabric postcard, I might just write on it. But if I make a really nice, intricate one that I think they might hang up, then I usually don't write on it. And why? Because if I want to take this to your house and I want to show it to you, right? I'm like, oh, look, I received this gorgeous card. Isn't it beautiful? Come on, you're going to open it up, right? And if you see writing in it, are you going to read it? I know it's really hard not to read it. I always glance, even if I just happen to look it up, because sometimes you want to see what the little words inside, like when you have a store-bought card, it has a little sentiment inside, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's what the occasion's for or whatever. But I don't know, it's just human curiosity. You automatically just read what's written there. It's the same thing with postcards. When I mail out a fabric postcard, I try to put something on it so that the mailman and everyone that touches the card can't read it unless it's something I want them to see, I want them to see the beautiful fabric postcard and not the writing on the back. Just like when I send out regular postcards, it always bothers me that people are going to read the postcard. I know it's nothing on it. It's just, hey, we're having a great trip at Disney. You know, we saw Mickey Mouse. The kids loved it. Or so-and-so was scared to death. No big deal. But I don't know. It just bothers me. So, do you write your notes inside on a card, or do you tuck in a little piece of paper like this one? Just curious. So thank you guys for hanging out with me this week, and I'll see you on the tutorial for this on Friday. You have a great week. Bye.